Jalen Reagor has clearly not worked out, and he's the guy they're killing on every show. Everybody wants him gone, and I honestly think that he would benefit greatly from a new city.
All right, guys, do me a favor. Merrill Reese, the legend himself, is going to join us here in a second. And we're going to be able to – we're ready now? Hey, man, I tell you this. I read some of the best tweets from Merrill Reese, and I'll tell you what, man. Merrill was just absolutely thrilled, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit on what this year meant. And I'll tell you something, Merrill. I was reading it last night, and you being able to cover this team for as long as you did. Let's see if we can get Merrill back here in a second. Here. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see if we can get Merrill.
There we go.
Here we go. Okay. Merrill, it seems to me that you really had a fun time covering this team this year.
Oh, I did. I mean, it was a team that nobody expected a lot from, Dan. It was a team that was 4-11-1 last year, and they got off to a 2-5 start, which was disturbing. But then they won a long string of games, and they finished solidly if you take away that last meaningless game against the Cowboys. But they did very, very well. I mean, they won at one point 6 out of 8 games, and they did a lot of things well. But the thing is, it's what did you do lately? And what they did lately was come up and have with a poor game against Tampa Bay on Sunday. And you know what? You could make a case that these last couple of seeds in a year where they've extended the playoff field really are not playoff quality teams. They're in there because the playoffs, they wouldn't have been in there last year or the year before. They're in there now because they extended the seeds. And it's good and it's bad. I think it's good because it keeps a lot of cities and fans into it and interested almost to the very end of the regular season. So from that standpoint, it's good, but you're going to get clunkers. You're going to get games like the New England game against, I mean, they were just torn apart by Buffalo the other night. The Eagles game was a terrible game. The Pittsburgh game, Kansas City just annihilated them. So you're going to have teams in there that are not legitimate. Well, it's legitimate, but they're not playoff caliber teams.
You know, Merrill, I'm going to take the silver lining in this here, and I'm going to take a comment that Jalen said today. And the experience, though, you having covered Eagle teams over the years, you know, and I go back and I was talking to Shannon Sharp a little earlier, too. And he said, you know, the most experience we ever got was we got beat by the Jaguars at home in a playoff game once. And then after that, we said never again. We took so much from that loss that the next 2 years we won the Super Bowl, and we won back-to-back Super Bowls. And Jalen made a comment today like that saying, hey, we're going to learn a lot from this Tampa game. So the experience factor, do you agree that they learned so much on how to prepare, what to prepare for, what a playoff team looks like, the level of play, it gets accentuated a little more, and the level of coaching also raises in a game like this. So this was an experience factor that I don't think that people are really looking at how important it was for them.
Well, I do agree with that to a point. However, what I think they gain out of it more than anything else, let's just say it's another year, and they finished 9-8 and rode off into the sunset. And everybody's saying, you know what, Eagles had a really good season. They're much better than they were last year, but it masks some of the problem. Because you get into a playoff game like this and you're taken apart by the defending Super Bowl champions, and it tells you how far you are away and the moves that you have to make this offseason to become a more competitive team against the better teams in this league. So from that standpoint, I think it's pretty good.
How about this one? Now let's get into Jalen here, obviously, the conversation. And I'm going to throw this at you. I said this here a couple minutes ago to everybody. I said this here, Merrill. I mean, if you watch Kyler Murray last night, Kyler Murray he struggled the same way, basically, that Jalen Hurts struggled in his football game here. Do you believe that Hurts in 2021, you saw enough to secure the Eagle job for him going into 2022?
I do, but I'm not in the majority. If you listen to the fans and and read the writers in this city, I'm in a minority. I think he has a lot of qualities. Although the thing that I continue reading and hear from from people who call the talk shows and things, they talk about the fact that his arm is not strong enough, and that's simply not true. I have watched him. I've talked to Doug Peterson. I've talked to Nick Sirianni. They both say there's not a pass that he can't make. There's not a throw that is outside of his scope, his talent level. He's got plenty of arm. Now, does he make mistakes? Yes. There was a rollout left where he was intercepted at the end zone. He let it go too late. He did not get that out of there fast enough. He may have a misread here and there. But you know what? He's a 23-year-old quarterback. He's a dedicated guy. He's a team leader, and he has plenty of ability with his arm. I mean, we all know how well he can run. But I think you have to coach him. He needs more experience, and I think he grew a lot this year, and I think he will continue to grow. Can you think of, do you really want to give up what it would take to get, Russell Wilson? Do you really want to give up the 3 number 1 draft choices, or one of these other marquee quarterbacks? I don't think so. Now, how about the draft? Is there any quarterback in this year's draft, Dan, who is coming out who you think is going to be as good as Jalen Hurts?
No way. I looked at them all. I've started evaluating them. The kid maybe at Pitt, the kid Howell at Carolina. To me, these guys are third rounders, but because the importance of the quarterback position, they'll all be put in the first round, Merrill. So, to me, Jalen Hurts was coming out in this year's draft at 23 years of age. To me, he'd be a first rounder. He'd be one of the top guys taken. So I'm not going into the draft. And then the question does come up with all the draft choices. You got 11 draft choices and 3 first rounders. Looks like they're going to be 15, 17, and 19 as of right now. And you would say this, okay, you could parlay them out, trade out of the first round with one of them, build your future. And I'll ask you then, and I'll lead this into you here. This has to be one of the most important off seasons, I would think, for the Eagles in recent memory. Because, look, you've got all the equity that you said in cap space money. You've got all the equity in the draft. And you've got to figure out if Jalen is the guy. So all those decisions have to be made by the owner, the head coach, and the general manager. Would you say this is the most important offseason?
I agree. I think it's a critical draft for this team because of the things that you wisely mentioned, the ammunition that they have to really with this draft. But I'll tell you my thinking. Okay. My thinking is I think Hurts is going to be fine. I just think you have to be patient and continue to work with him. And as you surround him with a better cast, he's going to respond and be better. But here's what I also think. I think you trade up into the top 10, even if it means using 2 of your first round draft picks. You trade into the top 10 and you pick a defensive difference maker, an impact player. I don't care who it is. There are so many of them right there. Jordan Davis of Georgia. What is he? 6'6", 360?
365. The kid Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. Thibodeau from Oregon.
But Aiden Hutchinson, you'll never get near because I believe he'll be the first or second player picked in the entire draft. As far as Thibodeau, maybe you could get up there. How about Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame? Yeah. There's another impact difference maker, and they need a safety. Look, I'm thrilled with everything I've seen from Devontae Smith. I think they struck gold with Devontae Smith. He's going to be a star in this league for a long time. But look at the impact that Dallas made with Micah Parsons. That's what not that there's another Micah Parsons coming out right away because they don't come out that often. But who knows? Who knows what Davis will do? Who knows what Hamilton will do? Who knows what the other end is? It David Ajabo from Michigan. He could be that guy. He had a lot of sacks this year. So I think they need an edge rusher, a safety, or a defensive tackle in this first round of the draft. And I think they have to go into the top 10 to do it. Then later in the first round, because they still have one left, then you go out and get another wide receiver who would be a complement to Devontae Smith. And one of the people I like, and maybe because I follow the team so much, as I like Johan Dotson from Penn State. I mean, because he solves two problems. Number one, he's a lightning quick wide receiver with great hands. And number two, he's a dynamic return man. And boy, do they need a dynamic returner.
You know, a couple last questions here for you, Merrill. Let me throw this at you, too. I made a point here a couple minutes ago about Odell Beckham. Last night, Odell Beckham with a signal caller that could get him the ball. Look at the difference he looked like last night. 91 yards in total offense. I mean, the last couple games with the Rams, he has been the Odell Beckham that we saw in New York with the Giants. Look what a quarterback that's accurate can do to a receiver. The more we see Jalen improve or whatever they do at that position, it's got to be about making sure that that guy also develops. It's kind of tough to develop a quarterback and a wide receiver at the same time. So I think that tandem still has a long way to go. Don't you agree?
Well, I think it does. I think they're pretty good together. But again, Jalen Reagor has clearly not worked out. And he's the guy they're killing on every show. Everybody wants him gone. And I honestly think that he would benefit greatly from a new city, a new.
Absolutely there. Okay, looks like. Merrill, you there?
I'm here.
There you go. We got one last question for you. Sirianni
Sure.
and the job that he did this year, and the fact that, you know, I mean, like you said, 2-5, they roll back, they get the team into the postseason. You know, I saw Cliff Kingsbury in his first game last night, and boy, I'll tell you, you could see it, can't you? Experience in the postseason. Those games are just a little different, aren't they, Merrill? But giving that all said and done, the year you think, Merrill, that Sirianni had?
Nick had a great year. He really did. He won a lot of fans in the city who really didn't know much about him when he first came in. But he's a very bright coach. He's got a lot of energy. His players responded to him. I think he did a terrific job.
Absolutely. Merrill, thank you so much, my friend.
Okay, Dan, anytime. Always good speaking with you.
You bet. That's my friend, Merrill Reese. Yeah, not Merrill Lynch. Merrill Reese, thank you. So, hey, how about this? It's a lot of growth yet to go. I thought it was great. Absolutely, man. Merrill was critical of Jalen Reagor not working out. They've got areas where they have to improve. Pretty good there. All right. Do me a favor, hit the like button. We'll respond, and we'll take your thoughts a little bit more here on what Merrill Reese just said. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.